Hi guys, let's talk about end of the year lessons for our little people. So kindergarten, first and second grade. In this video, we're gonna talk about lots of different options that you can use at the end of the school year with your little people. And all of these are centered on things that are either like movement based or super easy or both, because at the end of the year I want the kids moving, I want the kids engaged, but I know that I'm already ready to go, so I don't want anything that's gonna stress me out. I don't want anything that's gonna be difficult. I want everything to be like easy peasy. So with that in mind, let's hop into it. Number one, that was kind of a funny choice of words because I'm staring at a coloring sheet with a bunny on it. Number one is gonna be coloring sheets. My littles love coloring sheets. I did like a color by note with my second graders a few years ago, and after that, every single time they came to music, they were like, are we gonna color today? And I was like, we're not gonna color every day, like we have other things to do. But because of that, I have used them so many times. I use them as assessments, I use them as time fillers, I use them as sub plans, and they are great for the end of the year, especially when you just have a lot of craziness. Specifically, my best suggestion is to go ahead and print out a whole bunch of them so that you have them if you need them for days like today, when we were like supposed to have an award ceremony and then we didn't have an award ceremony, but I didn't know until like right at the time, and I was like, okay, here, go color. And they're like, yay, color. And I was like, great. So they come in very handy at the end of the year when everything is just like mass chaos, because they're actually pretty non-chaotic. The kids will color for quite a long time, and if you do color by note, then you can also have them identifying patterns, identifying rhythms as they are coloring. So I use quite a few different ones, but specifically recently I have a set of solfege ones that are like spring themed, and then I have a set of rhythm ones, also a treble clef one for ocean theme. So they're all like ocean scenes, which I thought was perfect for the end of the school year. So those are what I have been using mostly lately, and it's been really helpful. You know, I see my kids for a week at a time, so it's nice to have like one of those days that's like a coloring day where they're coloring my notes. So they're still doing music stuff, but it's just a little bit calmer, and so that's just like a nice little situation we got. Speaking of not calm, number two is gonna be using the parachute. I love the parachute, but it's very chaotic, so it only comes out at certain times of year. End of the year is a great time for parachute because it gets the wiggles out, and it's so much fun that they will want to behave so that they can use the parachute. Some of my favorite things to do with the little kids on the parachute, number one, wheels on the bus. Very simple. Wheels on the bus go round and round. Wheels on the door on the bus goes open and shut, and the wipers on the bus go swish, swish, swish. Those are the easiest things to do on the parachute with that song. So we usually do those and maybe a couple others, and we'll just repeat them a million times over. Number two, I love using Ballet of the Unhatched Chicks. I have a whole video about how I use that, so I'll link it down below. But the form for this one is AABA. It's also like a minute, so it's super short. So usually what I do is on the A section, we do little teeny tiny shakes, and then on the B section, we take our hands off and freeze. And it helps if you have them sit down for this. And then back to A, and so we do little tiny shakes. It's just like a really easy way to do that. Or you could have them do little tiny shakes on A, and then on B they could walk in a circle and do that as well. Or you could do one and then build it up to the other one. And then to make it really fun, especially if you have like little chickens, you could put like little stuffed chickens or little puppet chickens on the parachute, and they'll like hop around as the kids do the little tiny shakes. Oh, so fun, so fun, so fun. Yeah, so really easy, really fun. The kids will love it from K to 5, but those are some of my favorite things with the littles. Next up is what I call like movement songs. So these are songs that have movements embedded in them, and you can change the movements, which means that they can last forever. One of my favorite ones, I'll talk about three different ones. So one is Here We Go Looby Loo. This song, if you don't know, goes, here we go Looby Loo, here we go Looby Light, here we go Looby Loo, all on a Saturday night. So on that part, what we do is we walk, and then on a Saturday night we spin, and then it's kind of like the hokey pokey. So it goes, you put your right arm in, you take your right arm out, you give your right arm a shake, 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 and you turn your yourself about, and then you go back and you do left arm, right foot, left foot, and then you can say, now what should we do? And someone will be like, your head, and you're like, oh great, your head. You put your head in, and it can go on for so long, which is great. Get all the wiggles out. Similar to that is one of my favorites. I don't know where this is from, but my mentor teacher did it. So if you know where this is from, let me know in the comments down below, because I love this song. But it's My Poor Hand is Shaking. And this song goes, my poor hand is shaking, I can't make it stop. My poor hand is shaking, I can't make it stop. Oh mama, I can't make it stop. My poor hand is shaking, I can't make it stop. Stop! And you gotta point and say stop, and then you do your, it's supposed to be right hand and left hand. I just say my hand and then my other hand because it was easier than dealing with right and left and all of that. And it just continues, and it's so funny. And so usually we'll do a couple of them, and then I'll be like, can you make a face? Like, what face would you make if your hand was shaking and you couldn't get it to stop? And they're like, and I'm like, great, can you do that this time? And so, and like really comedically, and I love walking around like shaking. I kind of like get like really close to them and like shake all of them in their face, and they think it's hilarious. So fun, so fun. And the third one that I love to do is while we walk. I like this one especially at the beginning of the year, but it's good at any time. So this one goes, well, we walk and we walk and we walk and we stop. We walk and we walk and we walk and we stop. We walk and we walk and we walk and we stop. We walk and we walk and we walk and we stop. And then you can hop and stop, and then you can march and stop, and you can wiggle and stop, and you can spin and stop. Like, you can continue going, and you can get the kids to tell you what to do, and it's a great time. So highly, highly, highly recommend. Number four is to work on form. At the end of the year, I love doing things with form, and I love doing like instrument stuff, because those are things I feel like I don't hit as well throughout the year. And so it's good to like throw it in at the end because it's not that complicated. So we like to listen to different songs and talk about the form. We use our hands to show A and B and C and D. I don't usually do D's with kids, but there is that. And then we use like Ballet of the Unhatched Chicks. March from the Nutcracker is great. I know it's, you know, Christmassy, but you know what, I don't care. Syncopated Clock is really fun with second grade. I like that one. There's a really fun lesson at Artie Almeida's Scarves and Ribbons and Parachutes of My, so I'll link that one down below. But basically for any form thing, you can have the kids come up with a different action for each of the different parts of this song, and then you can just do them. So you can even have the kids pick, and you can do, okay, on the A section we're gonna clap, and on the B section we're gonna stomp it, whatever. That's a really easy way. You can do like coloring with form, where they have to color the different sections differently. You can have them, we've done where we had different letters, and so each letter you would hold up, this is the A section, this is the B section, this is the C section. There's a million things you can do. So just like pick a song that has a really easy form and go for it. Next up is play along videos. These have been like my saving grace the last few months. We have done so many play along videos. I don't even want to talk about it. But play along videos, there's kind of two different parts. There's body percussion play alongs, and then there's rhythm play alongs. Body percussion play alongs are these fabulous people on YouTube who make videos where it has a song, and then they have like where you like hand pictures, and so when the hand pictures are up you clap, and when the feet, so there's some of those we've been doing. We don't talk about Bruno. We've been doing Jungle Boogie is a really fun one for the little kids because it's really easy. It's just really fun. Can't Stop the Feeling, that was really fun, but it's really fast. And then rhythm play alongs as well are great, especially for all grades. And so you can look up like rhythm play along quarter rest. So you literally, I just look up like rhythm play along quarter rest, and then usually I can find a couple, and so I just pick whichever is like closest to my theme. So like we were doing Ickle Ockle, which is like ocean, so I was like, okay, we'll do the Little Mermaid one because it matches, and so that, you know, whatever I can find that matches. Next up is, of course, singing games, because what are we doing if we're not doing singing games? So I'm going to talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my favorite singing games that are really fun with the littles, and that will be it for today. So number 1 of my singing games is going to be London Bridge. I wanted to include this specifically because the other day I was in church, and I teach children's church, and my kids are, you know, K through 5 in children's church, and I was like, we're gonna play this game. I was like so excited because I was like, oh, we're doing, you know, the Israelites leaving Egypt, and we're gonna play a game like London Bridge where, you know, you go in a circle, and then at the end of the song the hands come down, and then whoever is under there gets trapped because the Red Sea fell. And you know, like, I had this whole thing planned out, and so I was like, who's played London Bridge? Not a single one had played London Bridge. So I was like, okay, we're gonna play London Bridge, and then we'll play my, you know, version that I spent a lot of time working on. So London Bridge, if you do not know the song, it just goes, London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. So the way I like to do it is myself and a student will hold hands, and the other kids walk around in a circle, and then at the end of the song, you come down, and whoever's underneath us gets caught. You can have that kid go out, but what I like to do is we use a different verse that goes, shake 'em up with pepper and salt, pepper and salt, pepper and salt, shake 'em up with pepper and salt, my fair lady. So the kids who are in the circle, they're shaking their hands, they're shaking their pepper and salt, and they're not walking. So it's kind of like they walk sometimes and not the whole time, which is nice because then they get a break. And then myself and whatever student I choose take the kid in the middle and gently rock them back and forth, shaking them up with pepper and salt. The reason I like to make sure I am one of those people is so that that does not get super violent, because I can control and make it very, very gentle so that nobody gets hurt. So it's mostly me, and then the other kids just, you know, there to help basically. And then we let them go, we go again, and then come down, and it's just really fun and really silly. Cut the Cake is a really fun song. I can't even remember how it goes now. Clap your hands together, give yourself a shake, make a happy circle, then we cut the cake. For this one, the kids are in a circle and they're supposed to grab hands. If you don't want to grab hands for, you know, COVID reasons, you can have them do, next year I want to do pool noodles and do like a half a pool noodle or like a third of a pool noodle in between the kids. I think that would be good. But something like that where they can both hold onto an edge of it, and one kid walks around while you sing. At the end, they take their hands and cut the cake. So they cut the two kids holding hands, and then those two students run around the circle without running into each other, back around, and the first person to high five the kid who was it is the new person who's it, and then the other kid goes back to the circle. I've seen some people who do make the kids shake hands when they get across, and I've also seen where they do like good morning, good afternoon, good night, and then continue. I've never done that. I've just been like very, very clear about like, be careful, do not run into each other. And honestly, with crazy games like this, we usually only play for like 5 minutes and then we move on. So I haven't run into too many issues with that, but those are options that you can do if you're having trouble. Next up is Grizzly Bear. This is like my first graders' absolute favorite. Actually, I had a lot of them tell me, I asked them what their favorite thing this year was, and they were like, Grizzly Bear. And I was like, great. Grizzly Bear goes, Grizzly Bear, oh Grizzly Bear is sleeping in a cave. Grizzly Bear, oh Grizzly Bear is sleeping in a cave. Please be very quiet, very, very quiet. If you wake him, if you shake him, he'll get very mad. Now there's a couple of different ways to do this, including a chase game, but how I like to do it is we sing and we walk around in a circle. One kid lays on the floor, they're the grizzly bear. At the end, the grizzly bear jumps up, everybody freezes, because if the grizzly bear sees you moving on our hike, then you will get eaten. And so the grizzly bear will come over, and if they see you moving, they go, not anywhere near your face. Really emphasize like to stay a foot away from the kids so no one gets bonked. I've never actually had any issues with that though. Like, we just really make sure we talk about that beforehand. And then if you get chomped, then you're out, and then we go again. So really, really fun. The kids absolutely love it, and it's fairly calm and not super loud, which I do love. Next up is Doggy Doggy Where's Your Bone, and this song goes, Doggy Doggy Where's Your Bone? Someone stole it from my home. Who stole your bone? I stole your bone. So with Doggy Doggy, what you do is everyone sings the beginning part, and then on someone stole it from my home, that's supposed to be the doggy who's in the front or in the middle of the circle, your choice. And then at the end, when it says, I stole your bone, one person gets picked to sing that ending part. So what I usually do is either have them in a circle with the kid in the middle, or have them just in their seats and the one kid in the front, and then I'll take the dog bone, usually it's like a crayon or some whatever I can find, and I pass it to somebody, and whoever gets it, then they say, I stole your bone, and the kid in the front gets 3 guesses to see if they can figure out who it was. Now it's really fun with like the 2nd graders because they can start to get tricky in 2nd grade, and so after a few rounds I'll be like, you know, you could do like a tricky voice and see if you can trick them, and so they'll be like, I stole your bone, and it just like make hilarious things, and it's so much fun. This is a great one if you end up like in the kids' classrooms during testing or the end of the year or whatever. It's also calm, everyone's seated, those things are important to me. So really fun. I actually have a 5th grader that played this in like 2nd grade, not even at my school, and she asked me about it all the time, so it makes an impression. And lastly is wolf / we are dancing. I'm sure you are not shocked this is popping up on my list because this is one of my absolute favorites with 3rd grade. This song goes, we are dancing in the forest and the wolf is far away. Who knows what will happen to us if he finds us at our play. Now this one again also has a chase game, but I also don't do that one, and instead we do something very similar to Grizzly Bear where we they dance in the forest, and then at the end, if the wolf sees you moving, then you're out. Typically, I'll be the wolf, and I don't usually chomp them like we do with Grizzly Bear, but yeah, so it's like a freeze dance situation. Really easy, really fun. You can use that with Peter and the Wolf. It's a great time. So definitely, I would highly recommend all of these. I also have videos about Grizzly Bear and We Are Dancing, so I will link those down below so that you can check them out. And that is a couple of things that you can do to make it through the end of the school year. I would love to know what you would add to this, especially singing game wise. So let me know down below what your favorite singing games are for the end of the year, what your favorite parachute activities are. Like, what are you doing with those first, second, and kindergartners to get them engaged all the way until the end? Leave those down below in the comments so we can all benefit from them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.